Hello, welcome to another video on Irish medieval history. Now let's get right into this one. In this video, I am covering the marriage, law, property, divorce, legal status, and the family of women in early medieval Ireland. So let's start with the controversy of the canon law in Synodos to Patrici. Here is an excerpt. Understand that the law has spoken, nothing more, nothing less. However, they say that they have neither seen nor read what is observed by us, namely that they be separated by 4 degrees. What does this mean? Apparently, just like the responsio Pope Gregory I sent to St. Augustine of Canterbury in 601 AD, to ban Anglo-Saxons' marriage to first cousins, which apparently Anglo-Saxons were known to do, but were allowed marriage to second and third cousins. But is that what Synodos to Patrici means? Maybe. It's not really sure what it does mean, but it did affect the inheritance of property. So, according to an Irish historian, Duncan O'Corn, the church restrictions affected the question of female heirs of no surviving sons. In this instance, a daughter inherits a life interest on her father's estate, but it reverts on the daughter's death to her father's surviving kin of any of the 4 degrees. But the daughter could ensure a continued interest for her children in her father's estate by resorting to a legal compromise of marrying an ultimate heir, one of the father's cousins. Now, apparently, there is evidence of 2 early Irish sources which supports this as a preferred solution. The first source, a poem, states, binding sureties are given so the property will not be alienated permanently out of the kindred. The second source, a text on legal injury, which supports this interpretation of a woman who sprang from 2 forks, who is an heiress issuing from a parallel cousin marriage. The text also mentions her family accepted her taking of possession because it was a case of reversion, which means it will go back to the original family. But another canon law called Synodos Hibernicis states the authorities of the church have much to add here, that female heirs should give sureties that the property might not be alienated, and should they produce sons by their father's relations, these should inherit the patrimony. So it seems the church kind of supports this solution of cousin marriages. So that is the controversy out of the way and the property. Let's get into the marriage, type of marriages, and the divorce. The woman in early medieval Ireland had more rights than her contemporaries in continental medieval Europe, including marriage. By the end of the 7th century, both the husband and the wife contribute equally to their marriage goods, and the woman was described as a woman of joint dominion, a woman of lordship. This union entitles the woman to examine and in need to object to her husband's important contracts in matters that would affect the family farm. Nothing that is essential to the household economy could be alienated without consultation without the other spouse, but both have control over their own separate personal and private property. Now, for the type of marriages. It isn't unlikely, as based in the Irish law text, that men can't have more than one wife. In fact, a man can have 3 wives. But the 3 women will not be equal to each other, for the principal wife would be from the first form of marriage. But the children born out of these marriages would have equal inheritance rights. These marriages were probably done by the aristocracy rather than the freemen. Anyway, the divorce. If the marriage dissolved, then each partner will receive back what each contributes to the marriage in the first place, together with any profit from the joint activities in the marriage. The division of property was in accordance with the fixed proportions: one third to the partner who provided the land, one third to the partner who provided the stock, and one third to the partner who provided the labor. The woman who works on the farm in the domestic economy is given full recognition, as is the arrangement in case of no fault divorce. But if either partner was being naughty and found guilty in their misbehavior, which brought the separation, then his or her proportions of family property is reduced. There were many grounds for divorce for men and a few for women. But early Irish law also protected the woman's physical and mental well-being. I'm telling you, early Irish law seems to be way ahead of its time. So let's start with the women's grounds for divorce. The husband who couldn't satisfy his wife in bed, either because he was sterile or he likes men, she is entitled to her bride price and a fine in compensation. Other grounds for divorce are if a husband tells tales of what happened in the bedroom, who abandons his wife and kids for life on the road, and abandons his wife by joining the church. Another ground for divorce was physical abuse. So, a man did have a right in early Irish law to hit his wife, to correct her, but if there is a lasting blemish on her skin, she can divorce him. Now for the men's ground for divorce: infidelity, thieving, abortion, and making a mess of everything in the household. The last part maybe, so what? But no, the woman basically runs the domestic economy, and it is to her it must run smoothly. Now the legal status of women. It has been stated that apparently the church influence in early Irish law helped to raise the status of women, but McNeil reckons it was a progression from the earlier law. Women had to rely on the male member of family to vindicate their rights, until women can independently act in legal situations and can acquire and retain personal property or get rid of it if she so see fit. In the law of distraint, a defendant is a woman, and with this modified rule, the woman has a share of agricultural and household labor. Now, women and the family. It is expected the wife and the husband share equally the expenses and rearing of their children, including fosterage. Fosterage was a normal practice in early medieval Ireland to create a strong bond between families outside of the kindred itself. Now, there has been many mentions of early Irish law topics here on this video. So I will go deeper into any of those topics again on the early Irish law itself. But until then, Slán.